That, as you know, and as I've mentioned in the past, it is dark in the parking lot, and there are families and children, young children, who might be walking about. So as you're pulling out and you're making your way home out of the parking lot, please do so carefully and be mindful in the parking lot. I also, I do want to take a minute while people are completing their nawafil. I do want to, again, just quickly mention, I will need about 8 to 10 volunteers today to help setting up with chairs for tomorrow's workshop, inshallah, after the lecture. And then also for families who are planning on staying, we do have the family movie night. That program will start at 10 p.m. downstairs in the banquet hall. At this time, we have had the pleasure over these last several evenings of listening to Hujjatul Islam, Dr. Syed Hadi Yasin, who has graced us all with his knowledge, with his inspiring words. Please join me at this time in welcoming him to the minbar with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. May Allah inshallah accept all our prayers, our amal, our fastings, all our du'as, dedication in this month and all time inshallah, and make it dhakhira and reward for dunya wal akhirah. ببركة صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this tawfiq. Once again we're together and we were able to comprehend another day of month of Ramadan. May Allah inshallah make this hours and time and minutes the best of the hours of our lives inshallah. In this dunya, tests are very essential to measure the quality of the knowledge of people and also to help them to improve themselves. It's one of the tools that has been used in order to understand the level, the shortcomings, and therefore improvement in that specific subject. However, when it comes to us human beings, imagine in a setting of educational institution, imagine a teacher, students. The reason they test, number one, is the teacher understand who learned the subject and who is ready to go to the next level. That's one reason that they give tests. The second reason, this is the foundation of my discussion, inshallah, if everyone pay attention, it's very important. The second reason is to prove to the students, himself and herself, that this was your level, right? Because if you don't test me, I can claim a lot of things. I could do better. Why that person? I could do better, right? The other reason is that to prove, when it comes to higher level, to prove the quality of certain good students to other people. When it comes to our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, He doesn't test us to understand our level, because He knows our level. But if He wants to executively say that this is your level, you have to do this, you have to do that, we will complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He tests us for two reasons. Number one, we understand our level, where we are. And He proves to the world why He chose certain people to be the Prophet, to be the Imam, to be the Hujjat of Allah and representative of Allah. Otherwise everybody could say, I can be Ibrahim, I can be Amir al-Mu'mineen. But when they see the test that those people go through, no one can claim just because they say that. So we're talking about the tools and the way to recognize and how to improve our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recognize our relationship with Him. What kind of relationship I have? Last night I asked, if you remember, if you write down and define yourself, who you are. Remember? I said if you can get to this answer that who am I? The purpose of my creation and my life, that can help me a lot to improve myself. The question I want to ask tonight is that, how do I define my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What kind of relationship are we talking about? Because sometimes in this world, we're mixing the relationship and responsibilities. That happens a lot in the setting of families. Sometimes children become parents. They're ordered, and they push the parents to certain things. Sometimes the positions are changed. The Maulana's position is changed with the community. The community become Maulana, right? They want to order the Maulana what to do. You go to the doctor, they want to tell doctor, no, you know what? That medicine you don't know, I saw on TV. How about that? Well, if you're a doctor, Bismillah, what are we doing here? If you're the Maulana, Bismillah, you can rent this and right? So we have to define the relationship to understand who we are, what we're supposed to do, and how this would help us when I understand my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how that will help me to improve myself. Then when it comes to Ramadan, when it comes to Muharram, when it comes to Rajab, Sha'ban, doesn't matter. I understand how to improve myself. One of the questions that usually, I don't know how many of you guys are teachers, one of the questions that the students, specifically in a graduate level, they ask the teachers is that, how do you test us? Right? Tell us about the test. How often you test? What kind of test? Your test is what? Multiple choice question? Is it essay? Is it different ways? Let me know. I'm going to study, that's okay. But let me know, let me become familiar with the way that you test me. Do you agree with me? Yeah? What's the question we ask? I want to be prepared to understand how the teacher, how the instructors would teach me. We're talking about the relationship we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I ask you right now, think about, it's one of those essential questions. Think about the last 3 tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. I want to give you 2 seconds, 3 seconds. The last 3 tests that Allah gave you. How many of you guys remember? Raise your hand. Not too many people, right? I'm going to talk about this. Why? Did you ask Allah, if that is students, ask Allah about the test. Did you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, how do you test me? I'm going to know my relationship with you. How do you test me? How many of you guys you ask Allah this question? Raise your hand. No one. Isn't my relationship with Allah defined by the test? We're going to talk about this. Is it or not? How do you feel about the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If I tell you Allah tests you when? Do you think sometimes Allah tests you, or you think always tests you? Don't go based on the book. Right? You know where I'm going, that's why you say that. Do I believe that Allah tests me all the time? Do I believe the role of the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my life or not? Let me ask you another question. Do you feel you're in test right now? Well, everything is good. Everything is fine. What do you mean by test? What am I doing now? What kind of test we're talking about, right? So, if you say that, yes, Allah tests us, yeah, I want you to look at your life and answer this. Sometimes Allah tests, yeah, I have to answer this way or that way. That doesn't work. Surah Mulk, the 2nd ayah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةِ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created death and life. Death and life. For the sake of you understand which one of you have the best amal. When I say from the beginning of today that you came until the end, there's going to be a test. That means the whole entire time, right? When it said death and life, by the way, it brought the death first. So when you say death, you get the attention. From the beginning to the end of your life is just for the sake of لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ حَسَنًا, to test you, to see which one of you are doing better than the other one. What does it mean when it says the beginning to the end? That means your entire life is in test. It's not a specific time, a specific moment that you will be tested. No. And the other ayah that you all know, خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. For the sake of ibadah, we created jinn and ins. So imagine how beautifully these ayat are complementing each other, right? So we created jinn and ins for the sake of ibadah. Ibadah means ma'rifah. Ma'rifah means what? As a test, I'm through the test. I'm going through this test to understand. I'm going through the test to see my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to what level is my relationship. Looks like the whole entire purpose of creation of us is this test. And we're going to talk about what kind of test we're talking about. The whole entire relationship that we have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is based on the test that we're talking about it. And how do you feel about this test? Do you feel, when God forbid, if someone has a tragedy in life, lost a family member, something happened, some issue happened, right? What do we say? Sabr, inshallah. It's a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a test from Allah. Yes, just be patient. When was the last time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped someone to have the best job ever? You went to says, brother, this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be careful. When was the last time that you got married? You felt this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You guys said all the time, do you feel it? No. That's what I mean. Based on the book we can answer it, but do we have, when the last time that my child was born, did I feel that this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When it comes to negativity, as soon as I calm myself down, this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be careful. You lost it, that's okay. That's it. That means very subjectively and occasionally, right? So that occasion that I'm in trouble, so it's a test from Allah. So if it's a good part, positive side, is not a test, it's myself, right? I did it. I could gain it. But when I lose something, oh, it's his fault, so that's why you're testing me now. You see how deficiency in the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we're defining? No. Doesn't matter good, bad, doesn't matter. Do you feel the last time that you fought with your wife or with your husband, that was a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Raise your hand. Do I feel this is a test? Do I feel that next time, I'm just giving this example specifically so we'll be more used to it. Do I feel when I'm accepted to that school and I'm going and I'm walking on campus, I am constantly in the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I'm not waiting for that big event that Allah says, go slaughter your son. So I say, oh, this is the test. No. The moment that I'm walking on campus, do I feel this is a test? The moment that I leave the house, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, take the wuzu in the day, at the beginning of the day, let's go to work. Do I feel this is the test started? No. Isn't it a new concept? It's a new concept, I feel it. That's a new concept that now I'm going out and the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started. When I have relationship with my friends, do I feel this is the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When I start my business, do I believe this is the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? My in-laws are living with me. Do I feel this is the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with all the difficulties? Come and ask me. When I have the moment to suppress and oppress my daughter-in-law or my son-in-law because I am the mother-in-law or father-in-law, do I feel that's the test of Allah? Do I see the face of Allah there or not? If I don't see it, I promise you, respectfully, one day we'll all stand before Allah and we'll answer to what we did. Remember the first night what I said? Every single these examples I'm giving is a trend of years and years of seeing people and clients. Families that have been destroyed. Do I feel this as a test? I'm waiting for the big tragedy happened and I feel, oh, that's the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I lost someone, so bismillah, Allah tested me. We can talk to Allah, right? Salat and Quran. Do you know there's a way that Allah is talking to us? How? There's a language. Through these tests. If someone goes outside tomorrow, fall down, God forbid, have an accident, something happened, instead of start yelling and shouting and cursing the entire world, why I could, leave a little bit earlier or later or sooner, I better stop and says, okay, Allah, so what's going on? You're trying to tell me something, right? I heard a big news in my life. What am I supposed to do? Alhamdulillah. So what's going on? What are you trying to tell me? There's a reason you're telling me. I know. وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا. Namaz ghufayla, right? A single leaf would not fall down from a tree unless Allah is aware of that. So you mean I found that honor, that izzah, that money, that life things, whatever positive, or on the other side, difficult test, and that's not a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's not the God that we know. So next time is the fundraising event. How many of you guys, you felt this is the test from Allah while you're in fundraiser? No. What do you mean? As soon as they say fundraiser, a lot of us, we don't show up. Right? Especially if it's private. Do I pause and see, maybe that's the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's trying to help. I mean, how is He supposed to? Do you want Him to come to your house, knock on the door, brother, oh sister, please, I'm God, I'm Allah, the one that you worship, and I want you to do this. Do you want Him to do that? If He does it, many people, they ignore Him, believe me. Some people, when it comes to difficult tests, tragedies, may Allah inshallah give sabr inshallah to all those who are having tragedies in life. But when it is out of pressure, of course. When it comes to something happen in their life, the first thing they start questioning is that, why me? Why is it this way? It's a very common, right? Out of pressure, of course. Why us we're being... So this question is like, okay, if not this, then so it's going to be that. Because we said the whole entire life is in test, right? So if you're not tested by this event right now in your life that you're... Now I said test, all of you have something in your mind, correct? Yes or no? Sisters? Yes or no? Alhamdulillah. Something comes to your mind. If you're saying, why am I being tested by this right now? It's just like a student saying, why am I tested by science? So if not tested by science, so there's going to be tested in math. You can't be in school and not having a test. That doesn't make sense. You can't be in college, you can't be in university without a test. You can't say that why I'm tested this way or that way. Although the test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, here's the difference. You know why we don't like the test? Because there is a negative connotation associated with the concept of test. Because they want to put us down. Because I'm afraid if I don't pass, they're going to put me down, and that's it, I can't go to the next level. Which is different than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's test. When a child is being tested by a mother, would the child have stress? No. Because I know the mercy of my mother. My mother is trying to help me. So where is the mother? Where is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Hadith says, Allah kept 99% of the love that He created for Himself, so 1% He sent to the earth. Out of that 1% He sent to the earth, He divided 99% to the mother, the other percent to other people. So that merciful God, He tests you not to put you down, to raise your hand to elevate you, to help you, to support you. So next time when I have this test, this feeling that I should have, when I believe that every single aspect of my life is a test, it's much easier for me to tolerate, right? With just little issue, I won't complain. Ayah Quran, if you recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This ayat, beautiful. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Did really people think that we created them and they say we have iman and we're not going to test them? Do you think you got accepted to Harvard or to UCLA and then just because you got accepted, you're not going to have a test? It just started there. Wait, that was the easiest part. The most difficult part is to go through the tests in the school. أحسب الناس. People thought that just because you say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات. Allah is not going to test again? Well, look at his servants. Look how he tested his servants, right? You know what we do? Unfortunately, sometimes we associate the test to Allah doesn't love me, probably. It's a bala, it's a problem, he's going to put me, that's why it's negative, right? As soon as something happened to others, people look at them, oh, I don't know what kind of gunah they're committing that this kind of bala is coming. Exactly what happened to Ayyub and Nabi, right? Allah took everything from him as a test, what people were saying. He did something. He said he's a prophet, but he did something wrong. Who am I to judge people? Why do I think the tests of Allah are negative? Why do I think that He's against me? From what? A lot of us, we think, Na'uzubillah, Na'uzubillah, Na'uzubillah. Allah is the police officers. He's waiting for me to do something wrong. He catch my wrist and says, I got you. Put him in the fire. This is not the God that we worship. Let me on the other side not put my own shortcomings on Allah. Yes, I might have issue. I might have a stand. But that might be the test. Ya Allah, I'm going to become an abd for you that you never test me anymore. What do you mean? Like a student says, teacher, I'm going to study science so good that you don't test me. Oh, sweetheart, you missed the whole point. The whole point is that you should have a test in life. Regardless if you're Ibrahim, you're Nuh, you're Musa, you're Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya Allah, why you're testing me with my children? What do you mean? What do you mean you're testing my children? It's like that student asked. Why can I have my own children? Why can I have something else? Why can I have my own? What do you mean why? You don't ask a teacher why you're testing me or testing me this way. He knows better. And during the test, he's always quiet. He's there to help. He's there to support. But he's quiet. He wants to see how you're doing it. Just remember, he's not against you. He's with you. He's on your side. He's trying to help you to pass. What am I doing in Ramadan? I want to improve myself. Why Allah is testing me with my marriage? Why my spouse is like this, my in-laws is like that? So you want to have no test. How about that? If you have no test with this definition in your life, that's the moment you should be very scared. Maybe they kick you out. A lot of people outside, they have no test. Allah says, you want to have a beautiful life? I'll give you. You do zahmat, you do business? You'll be busy, mashallah, life, everything. So you're not going to have any test from me. It's like that professor says, sweetheart, you can come, you can go, whenever you want to come. There's no test for you. Isn't it scary? What is the definition of test we said? This definition. That is the beginning of azan. Allahu Akbar. As azan time, how many of you guys, you felt this is a test when it says Allahu Akbar? Honestly. What do you mean a test? Well, this is a test. Which one do you want to choose? I have a friend in LA. He had a carpet company in downtown LA. He said, LA area, we had a lot of Jews, living there. He said one day, it was around the Zohr, I had a client, I had a customer came in, and he had a lot of orders, a lot. And he said that while he was trying to put the orders in, my phone or something started saying azan, Allahu Akbar. So I had a choice to stay with him, finish the order, $1,000 and $1,000 orders, or go pray. So that was not always like this, but in that specific moment, something came to my heart. It's like, this is the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have to do something. He said, I decided to go pray. And I told him, brother, you can stay here 5 minutes, for less than 5 minutes, I'll go behind. Door is open, stay here, I'll go pray, and I'll come back and I finish the order. He looked at me, he said, he was Jew. He said, if you go, I'm going to leave. Sorry. I don't have time to waste for you that you're going to go pray. It was very difficult. It's thousand, and it's not that salat is becoming qaza, right? It's just beginning awwal waqt, on time. I have 1,000 reasons to say that's okay, stay with him, but for some reason I felt, sometimes we said inspiration, ilham, comes to our heart, we said this is the test from Allah. Instead I said, you know what, it's up to you, I have to go. I left. I prayed. I came back, he's staying there. He said, I thought you were leaving. He said, I wanted to leave, but I thought the one who does not betray the relationship with his God will not betray me in business too. Do I feel this is a test? Do I feel the moments of my life are the test? I'm just giving some example. There are multiple other examples. I'm just giving some so your mind start thinking to that, area. As soon as you say why, again and again in parentheses, never ever consider your shortcoming, my laziness on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say it's a test from Allah. If I'm not passing the test because I didn't study well, that's my issue. It's nothing to do with Allah. Yes? If I'm not a good employee and I'm being kicked out constantly, that's nothing to do with Allah's test. It's my issue. We're talking in the context of everything is in a normal situation. I'm doing my responsibility. It's out of my control as a human being. Correct? Yes? Make sense? Otherwise, everybody can come and say, oh, Allah wants that. So you don't go work, and then your wife says, why you're not working? He doesn't want me to work. No, it doesn't work this way. You do your job, and whatever comes is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Psychologically, whenever in trouble, in masa'ib, in difficulties, you believe that someone is watching you and testing you. Significantly, the pressure goes down. I have some scenarios, some examples. I talk to some people that, subhanAllah, you're like, how is it even possible some person become tested like this with this multiple things? When I talk to him, says, what calms you down? He says, I look at Imam Hussein, I look at Sayyidah Zainab Karbala, it calms me down. It's good for you have these names, that you look at them, you can calm down. They help you to understand the purpose of life. The more difficult test, here's the point. The more difficult test, the more improvement. When you're being tested, Allah doesn't test everyone with difficult tests, by the way. The more difficult, the more attention. Not everyone will be tested with مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. There's only one Hussein who is tested with Karbala in the entire world. Because of that, it says Sayyid al-Shuhada. From the beginning of the world to the end of the world, there's no shaheed that can reach the level of Shuhada of Karbala. When the test is very difficult, then your elevation is higher. And Allah tests those He loves the most with more difficult tests. You just said you're the Prophet, you're the Imam, you're Amir al-Mu'minin, so I'm going to test you. No. Awliya of Allah, they look at Allah, says, you won, okay, Bismillah. Anything else I have, I will give it to you. Sayyid al-Shuhada in Karbala, whatever he had, he gave for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing else left. He had one Aliyah Asghar at the end, right? One left. He gave it when didn't want to say it. When the blood was gushing out, he took the blood, threw it to the sky. What did he say? Allahumma taqabbal minna. Oh Allah, accept it from me. When the test comes, Karbala from the beginning to the end was the test. Sayyid ibn Abdullah Hanafi, he's one of those people that when Imam was praying, he was standing in front of the Imam to block the arrows. Okay? To block the arrows. By the end of the salat of Imam, he fell down. His body was full of arrows. You know this story. He fell down. So Imam came, he grabbed his head, put on his lap. Good for him, right? How beautiful. Imagine if there's a movie, you're the director. Imagine the video is just, the camera is going on the face of Abdullah and the face of Imam, right? So Imam is look at him, his body is full of arrows. He look at the Imam. So in that moment that he's seeing the beautiful face of Imam, what do you think he should say? Didn't I tell you I'm going to be loyal to you? Something like that, right? He look at the Imam and says, Awafaitu yabna Rasulillah? Was I loyal to you? What era are you guys living in? You're dying, your body is full of arrows. You look at Sayyid al-Shuhada, he says, did I do wafa to you? Was I loyal to you? Who are you? Bring the camera to Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein said, yes. Na'am wa anta amami fil Jannah. Yes, you were loyal and you're with me, in front of me in Jannah. You know, when you're being tested with difficult things, you're just so worried about it. The other things will become, so other people, their wife, family, animals, they were their own things concerned. For these guys, their love is here. You want it, I want it, khalas. There's no question. Why is it? When they threw Yusuf in the well, he didn't say, why me? He didn't say, well, I mean, it could be underground. Why you throwing me to inside? No. Laysa ma'allahi qurba. When you want it, I want it, khalas. When the test comes from a loved ones, that's so sweet. Isn't it? You heard about the romantic, stories? That the guy went to see the princess, and then she said, if you want me, you have to go through the mountains and blah, 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 all those things. They make stories. When the test comes from a loved ones, you love it. Give me more. Isn't it? It's very tough. But that's the sweet part. I don't know why I'm talking about these topics. When Rasulullah in Khutbah Sha'baniyah, he told Amir al-Mu'mineen that in 19th of Ramadan, your beard would dye with the blood of your head. This is how you're going to be shaheed. What do you think he should say? I mean, as a father, as a husband, he should say, okay, Rasulullah, how about my family, my children? How's the status of them? Who's going to help them? He said one thing. He said, وَذَلِكَ فِي سَلَامَةٍ مِّن دِينِي. When I become shaheed, is my deen is in a good status? Ali, you know who you are. You know your level. You know you're the second most important creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world. What kind of, I don't know, when I'm concerned, my concern is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's relationship and His test. That's a different era. You see then how other things will become lower than this. So you want to test me with my children, with my life, with my family, with things. Be careful. Don't try it at home. You want to test me with this? Let it come. As long as I know it comes from my mahboob, that I loved him, I'll take it. It's tough. He would test and test and test and test until someone shouted and say, I'm done, enough, I can't do it anymore. It's okay, that's it. Isn't it so beautiful to look at our life this way? Yes or no? Yes. Wouldn't our problems become more tolerable? Yes? Now I understand how the relationship with Allah works. Now I understand Hussein. That at the end, the guy says that the last moment of his life, the closer he will getting to Shahadat, the more his face will glorifying, will become more nurani. It's opposite, you become more scared. For Hussein was different. Why? That's why now I understand why Sayyidah Zainab says, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. Because it was beautiful. The beauty is not the tent of burning or the ears who are. The beauty is that we did what he wanted. You want to test us this way? Bismillah. So from now on, I'm going to work on myself. My shortcomings should be taken care of, by the way. Allah only tests the best of all people in the big test, that they do their job. When it comes others, you might not even test them, right? I do my best as a mother, as a father, as a child, as an employee, as whoever, as an alim, doesn't matter. I should do my best. But when the test comes, I see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is communicating with me. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin wa ajjil farajhum. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والنصر ومد في يومه الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من عوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك بحق الرسول يا Allah, hasten the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Us and our generation, let us be among the best of his followers. Do not let anyone from our generation against the path of Islam, Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, let us be among those who you are satisfied with them. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those who are under difficulties around the world, provide opportunities for them, freedom and success. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those who have hajat and requests, my respected brothers and sisters, give them all khair hajat. Those who are not feeling well, cure them at this moment. And those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gathering to their souls. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يعصوب الدين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك صلى الله عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا إمام الإنس والجان يا شريك القرآن. الأمان الأمان ورحمة الله وبركاته.